And she discovered that some people are worried a new law to protect renters is actually going to hurt their wallets instead.
So the garage was like a must-have.
It was a must-have, and my boyfriend Michael was very happy.
Taylor Baber's new home in Renton checks all the boxes. Backyard, right-sized living room and kitchen, and a charming front yard.
Instantly, I kind of fell in love with it.
But finding it wasn't easy.
I would describe it as kind of stressful.
Baber and her boyfriend were living in Seattle, but they were looking in August, a hot time for the market, and rentals in the city felt out of reach.
It's crazy expensive for like barely 1,000 square foot.
There's just not that many options.
Emma Davis is CEO of Point 3 Real Estate and the Seattle Rental Group, and she says our region needs a lot more of what's called middle housing.
Medium-sized apartment buildings, some townhouses and things like that mixed in would definitely increase the inventory.
But she notes just 2 months after Baber was looking, something interesting is happening in the market. Things are slower than usual.
With the single-family properties that we see, those ones have been sitting. What we've seen in the apartments is they're just now starting to do more concessions.
I got the latest data from Zillow, and it agrees. In the Seattle Metro, the typical single-family rental, like a house, was just over $3,300 a month, up 3.3% year over year. Typical multifamily housing, like an apartment, that was around $2,100 a month, up 2% year over year.
The good news is rent growth has slowed. The bad news is that rents remain very elevated, very high, and it's going to take a lot more housing.
Zillow's senior economist Orphe Divangi says reducing regulations could encourage builders to create more housing, including that much-needed middle housing.
Things like minimum parking requirements, right, or minimum lot sizes, right? Those are things that actually add costs to builders.
In fact, cities are making zoning changes in response to a statewide bill that passed in 2023, designed to increase housing types. KIRO 7 reached out to Tacoma, Renton, Everett, and Seattle, and each city told us in the past year they've created new zones for middle housing. But while Divangi thinks things are looking up for renters,
I'm hopeful that we're going to continue to see rents flatten and eventually even decline slightly, especially for apartment rents.
Some landlords have a word of caution.
I don't think we're at our highest.
Liata Rama and her husband own dozens of units and run a property management company. She points to Washington state's new law that limits landlords from raising rent by more than 10% a year.
In the next day, every landlord I worked with called me and said, I want an auto increase to the max.
She says landlords are facing rising insurance costs and higher property taxes, as well as a longer eviction process with winter and school year moratoriums in some cities.
Eviction used to take end-to-end 3 months. It now takes between 6 to 9 and sometimes even a year.
Units left like this. So landlords are hedging against future costs by hitting that 10% cap.
We don't increase rent because we want to. We increase rent because we're a business and we have to.
Just the open concept.
Taylor Baber's happy to have her rents locked in, at least for the next year, as she settles into her new home and new neighborhood.
I felt, pretty safe, knowing that this was going to be the area I was going to move to.
So if you're a renter looking for a new place right now, what are some things you can ask for? Seattle Rental Group tells us you can ask for certain amenities for free or at a discount, like parking. You can ask for discounted rent, too, or even a free month's rent, or try negotiating a longer lease term up front. Now, ultimately, they tell us that individual landlords, like owners of homes or condos, have a lot more leeway than big companies and are willing to work with good renters. Lindsay Sheldon, KIRO 7 News.
To read up on renter resources and rights, along with any discounts you may qualify for, just look for this story on our website.